Song of the Avatar, Part 1 of Chapter 18, Compassion in Action. Krishna, I'm still not sure about what renunciation means. Can you talk a little more about that? Certainly, Arjuna. Renunciation means that you give something up. One of the most important things that can be given up is selfishness. This means selfishness of thought as well as of action. The other form of renunciation that is extremely important is to give up any desire for the fruits of your actions. To perform a truly unselfish act, there should not be a need for any kind of reward, even in the form of thanks or compliments. The result of these two types of renunciation is unselfish love. Serving humanity rather than materiality leads to health, meaningful relationships, and spiritual contentment. Having compassion for others in all of your actions creates a lifestyle incorporating self-sacrifice, self-discipline, and selfless giving. It's a lifestyle of wisdom. The wisdom of Sattva renounces rewards for actions, while Rajas renounces anything that causes pain. Oh, I ate too much. I'll never do it again, at least until Thanksgiving. Tamas, meanwhile, will gladly renounce anything that involves taking responsibility. What about the garbage? What about it? Everyone is involved in some kind of action almost all of the time, mentally, verbally, or physically. All of those actions are interwoven with the natural force of karma, which is either the origin or outcome of each act. The higher self, however, is not the actor. It is the observer, sometimes called the watcher on the hill. So you just observe? You don't really do anything? I can help you to learn that the difficult events in your physical life take place to help you grow spiritually. I can help you to realize the consequences of your thoughts, words, and actions so that you might begin to soften your karma. Your karma begins to soften when you consider the needs of others before your own, and when you no longer insist upon getting your own way. Thank you for giving me this knowledge. There are different ways of perceiving knowledge, Arjuna. I have a feeling that the gunas are returning to this conversation. You're right. We'll start with tamas, mistaking the limited perception of life for life's entirety. Nothing to do, no place to go, might as well take a nap. Rajas perceives everyone and everything else as separate from itself. I think I'll have the veal. You're kidding, right? Do you know what veal is and how much suffering is involved in its production? All I know is that it tastes good, and how about some foie gras for an appetizer? Sattva perceives truth, unselfish love, and the unification of all things in divine spirit. This knowledge can improve lives by transforming negative reactions to everyday events into positive responses that help to uplift the world. The gunas are also seen in the workplace. Tamasic work wastes time and energy through inattention and laziness. What are you doing? I'm on my lunch break. You've been on your break for 2 hours. I'm almost done. Rajasic work concerns itself with the pursuit of short-term profits at the expense of friends and family. $50 on hi-hat in the fourth. Hi-hat in the fourth? Do you know something, dude? All I know is that hi-hat loses, my family don't eat this week. Sattvic workers have found ways to produce and sell products and services that actually benefit people. I'm trying to understand the philosophy behind the yoga. Is there a book that you could recommend? Absolutely. You might want to try the Bhagavad Gita. We have an excellent translation right here. Tamasic intellect is lost in the fog of confusion, not knowing right from wrong. Alice, did you take $50 out of my wallet? No, I never touched your wallet. The intellect of Rajas may know the difference between right and wrong, but will tend to ignore that difference in pursuit of the satisfaction of selfish desires. You are the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. You really mean it? No, not really. Of course I mean it. The intellect of sattva does know right from wrong and acts with compassion for others. Food is to your left, shelter to your right. Canine Corner. Check out this old track. Once I lived the life of a millionaire. Spending my money, I didn't care. When I began to fall so low, I didn't have a friend and no place to go. If I ever get my hands on $1 again, I'm going to squeeze it until the eagle grins. This song brings us to the concept of the will. The will is what sustains us in those times when we're down and out. With a strong will, we won't feel lost or abandoned during life's most challenging events. In a strong will, we find support, contentment, and vitality. And in the song, it's the strong will that looks forward to the day when it gets its hands on $1 again. The will of tamas is weak and stubborn after surrendering to fear and laziness. This is the scariest movie I've ever seen, but I can't turn it off. The will of rajas is directed toward the acquisition of wealth, fame, or pleasure. Need a lift? The will of sattva, strengthened through the practice of meditation, brings balance to the mind-body complex. Sattva says, where there's life, there's hope. There are 3 types of happiness, Arjuna. The happiness of tamas is the result of avoiding responsibility. The tamasic person is happiest when engaged in time-wasting activities. This happiness is soon replaced by boredom, however, at least until tamas chooses a different meaningless activity to waste its time upon. Happiness for rajas is the fleeting satisfaction that occurs when desires are gratified. For rajas, happiness is temporary, part of a cycle in which it alternates with desire. Happiness for sattva comes with the realization that desires are endless and that their satisfaction is brief. Sattvic happiness is based on contentment with one's life. This peace of mind brings an end to sorrow, even in the face of life's most difficult situations. Self-realization is also an acceptance of the immortality of the mind-body complex. Content with its mortality, yet aware of the conscious immortality at the core of its being, sattva chooses to help others find contentment in their lives. Sattva remembers the mortality that tamas and rajas have forgotten. Arguing, fighting, or selfish pursuits are not possibilities for sattva, who would rather be serving others. To be continued.